Hello everyone. So welcome to Tea with Ravi, and in this video, in this podcast, let us go through some of the updates from Atlasssian ecosystem. Now the first update is actually very interesting, and this is interesting because we all know about Twitter. We all use it. We all, or at least most of us, use it. I have been using Twitter for a while. Not for a while, but for many years. I think I first signed up for Twitter. I believe it was in 2007. I think it was, some new online platform that I discovered, and I thought, okay, let us take a look at it. You can write something like a very short micro blog, only 128 characters, I believe. So I signed up for Twitter, and I have been using it, but not really a lot. The way I work with my content online, I post everything on my website. And then from my website, ravisagar.in, I basically syndicate it to Twitter, sometimes LinkedIn. So basically all my content is on my website. And that is how it should be. So you should own your own content. If you want to learn about these things, you can, or these principles of owning your own content, you can go to indieweb.org. Now, coming back to the topic of Twitter. So the Twitter's own Slack and Jira was down. I think it was for a day or two. And I'm not really sure if Slack is back up again. But for Slack, Slack has confirmed that it was not really an outage. I was reading this article on theverge.com, and it is written here that maybe Twitter never really paid the bills. Now, for Slack, it is fine. But for Jira is actually an important tool for developers. You need a tool like Jira to know what you have to do. Basically work on your epics and stories or fix the bugs. And then, of course, you have the information about the branches from that particular issue. So you need Jira. At least developers really need Jira to work. And if Jira is down, I think Jira was down on Tuesday and it came back on Thursday. So for two days, it is a lot of time. I mean, I imagine your developers are not really working for 2 days. Company would lose a lot of money, manpower. Now the thing is that I don't really think Jira was down because of a problem, because you can't really expect a Jira data center. I believe Twitter is on data center. Someone told me somewhere that Twitter's Jira is on data center. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if it is on data center, I guess they have like multiple nodes. So I can't really imagine Jira being down because of a problem. So maybe I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but something to think about. Maybe Twitter is thinking about moving away from Jira, because you can, right? You can do issue tracking in other tools as well, like basic issue tracking. Sometimes, I personally feel that Jira is a good tool, is a great tool. I love working on Jira. I love helping my customers, my clients get the most out of Jira. But Jira in itself, if you talk about Jira Data Center, I think that is enough. If you have Jira, if you have projects, Jira software projects, and you can do basic reporting, you can take a look at what is happening in your work, in your project. You can basically use Jira without any apps or plenty of apps. Bare minimum, I believe it is good to have ScriptRunner and also EasyBI for advanced reporting, but that is it. That is it. You can actually use Jira without these apps. So maybe Elon Musk is now thinking of moving away from Jira and using something simple or simpler. Let us see. I'll probably let you know. The next update, and by the way, this week I don't really have a lot of updates, and I don't really want to bore you with things that I don't really find interesting, and I also don't really feel like sharing. But this week I just have mainly 2 updates for you. The next update is actually very important, and people are actually expecting me to share my thoughts on this. Now, last week I shared about ScriptRunner HQ, I guess headquarter, whatever it is, I guess, based on my limited knowledge of this ScriptRunner HQ. I believe it is probably Adaptivists' plan to focus more on ScriptRunner, which I understand. So now they have a separate site, separate, I believe, some kind of entity. But last week, they also announced this new companion to ScriptRunner, or maybe a new version of ScriptRunner called HAPI. So in the new version, I believe in the latest version of ScriptRunner, they have they have released this HAPI. Basically, based on my understanding, what HAPI is, it is basically like a wrapper around Jira Java API. So to give you a simple example, if you have to create an issue in Jira, I'll give you a couple of examples. If you have to create an issue in Jira, you will write, of course, some code, right? You will write some code in Groovy, and using Groovy, you would expect your Groovy code to talk to Jira Java API. So ultimately, utilizing Jira Java API to do something like creating an issue. And you can actually do the same thing using your own plugin, which you can develop in Java. So APIs are same, but Groovy makes it very easy, because Groovy is an extension of Java. So if you have some Java experience, you can quickly get started with Groovy. Now, good thing about ScriptRunner is ScriptRunner will give you this ability to write the code within Jira. So you can actually plug in few things here and there to do these improvements. Like maybe you want to do some automation that whenever you transition this issue, maybe create something somewhere else. Something like that. So basically, when you write a code here in ScriptRunner, you have to write some code, like few lines of code, or maybe more than few lines of code to achieve something, because you are ultimately using the Jira Java API. And then you have to make sure that if you are, let us say, using component accessor to maybe do something, maybe you want to create an issue, maybe you want to create a link, maybe you want to transition an issue, you have to write some code to check something, like you have to pass in at least, to create an issue, you have to pass in the issue type ID, you have to pass in the project ID, you have to pass in few other things, which is how coding works in general. And when you are writing code, you also have to make sure that you do your error checking, like error handling. Now, with the help of this HAPI, HAPI, I believe it will reduce, or it will let you write very few lines of code to achieve the same thing. For example, to create an issue, I'm actually looking at their examples. To create an issue, you don't really have to write like 20 lines. You can just write few lines of code, and it is good. It is great because for new Jira users, now people who want to use Jira along with ScriptRunner, they're usually admins, and they have to do some automation, but not all of them have programming experience. So you need some programming experience to write code using ScriptRunner for Jira, and that is a reality. There is no shortcut. But with this HAPI, I believe it will make it much more easier for new Jira, not only for new Jira administrators who want to use ScriptRunner, but also it will help anyone who is interested in, of course, getting the most out of their Jira instance by writing scripts. It will be simpler for them to just use these ready-made methods. So I guess that is what it is. You just need to use these methods to basically create an issue, to update, let us say, something in Jira. And I will take a look at it. I will definitely make a video on this new HAPI thing, the new version of Jira. And the way it works, I believe, because I've been using a ScriptRunner, the way it works, you basically have a script that will interact with Jira using Jira Java API. So your old scripts should work. I guess that is how it should be. That is what this blog post is telling us. You can go to scriptrunnerhq.com and you can learn about these updates. But your old code will work. But because you are going to upgrade your ScriptRunner to the latest version, I believe the version that they are talking about is 7.11.0 plus, I guess 7.11 something, right? So if you have written a script which is using these methods, using HAPI, I don't really think it will work on the old version of ScriptRunner. So something that you need to be aware of, because now there will be code snippets floating around, and people will copy and paste the code snippets And of course, if you have written something using HAPI, or if you have found some code that is actually written in HAPI, it won't really work on the old version of ScriptRunner. It shouldn't, right? Now, when I work, because I do a lot of ScriptRunner work, in fact, I earn my bread and butter, my beer, and I pay my bills by earning money using ScriptRunner. So the way I work, of course, I don't really write the code from scratch all the time. I usually have like my methods defined. So if I have to create an issue, I use my own method. So that is how I do things, and I think that is how most people do things. So it will definitely help, these new improvements, the way you can shorten your code, but you still have to write code to solve a business problem, basically the logic, because creating an issue is fine, or if you can save time, or if you can use these ready-made methods to, let us say, update a custom field, it will definitely help. But you still have to get your hands dirty. So don't really expect HAPI to do the work for you. It is not really any AI-based solution that will write the code for you, that will actually solve the problem for you. But this is definitely going to be helpful, and it is definitely a good thing. The only expectation that I have from Raptivist is that they should focus a lot on documentation, guides, code snippets, because people usually get stuck when they are trying to solve a problem and they have absolutely no idea. Sometimes it is okay to find a code snippet somewhere online, but it is not really for everyone. So you need to be a programmer, you need to be comfortable writing code, but at the same time, I think when you can find some examples online, different use cases online, which is already there. I mean, there are a lot of examples that you can find on community, or maybe on my website or my GitHub repository or my videos. But at the same time, I think the company who is behind ScriptRunner, they should do it a bit more aggressively, I think, because if I have to sell my own app, which is doing something, I would probably have plenty of documentation. So documentation and guides, use cases, code snippets, I think they should do it a lot more. They already are doing it, but I think it is not really enough. That is my feeling, and that is how people are always struggling with ScriptRunner. But this HAPI thing is definitely going to be useful. All right, that is it for this week. The last update is not really an update, but just my views. Now I make videos on ScriptRunner, Jira, things that you can do with Jira, Atlasssian tools, but my channel is not really about tools. I also share my experience. I also want to help other people who want to build their career in the field of Atlassian ecosystem, and I make videos on building your own career advice. And last week I made a video on this topic of should you work for an Atlassian partner, and I shared some pros and cons, not really pros and cons, but some good things about working for a partner versus not so good things. And hopefully it will give you some ideas in case you are considering working for a partner, an Atlassian partner. All right, that is it. That is it for this week. I hope you found this video, this podcast interesting and useful, and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.